Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.
Southeast Radio.
Welcome back to Southeast Radio's Business Matters with me, Karl Fitzpatrick. There is no doubt that we are becoming a more health-conscious consumer, so much so that my next guest spotted an opportunity to start a healthy dog food delivery service in the UK. Kevin Glynn from Butternut Box joins me now to discuss the business and the opportunity for growth within the market. Kevin, Butternut Box has become a very successful startup for yourself and co-founder David Nolan. Both yourself and David are former Goldman Sachs traders. But what did you learn from this particular time of your career?
The kind of key things taken from Goldman were there was a very high level of execution. We definitely tried to bring that into the business as well. We got very close to the numbers and very close to the detail. I'd say that's definitely transferred across as well. Client focus was a massive thing also. And I could definitely say that within Butternut now, we always try and put the customer first. So that was a key thing that we took across from our time at Goldman Sachs as well. So I think even just through kind of being around these specific mentors, we took on a huge amount on how they deal with customers. So they're all key points that we brought into the business on our side.
And where did the idea for Butternut Box come from?
That actually started because of Dave's family. So, well, we met on the internship on our first day together, and we were in there for 4 years, like I said. But while we were in there, there was a bit of a side story going on in Dave's family, and what that was they rescued a dog from Battersea, which is quite a famous shelter over here. At the time, her name was Snowy because she was abandoned walking around the snow in Enfield, and pretty much within the first day of her being rescued, she got renamed Rudy because she wouldn't stop farting. Our kind of like, our story actually began because of a famous farting dog. So Dave's family brought Rudy to the vet, and the vet said, a lot of this can be diet related. Have you tried switching up her diet before? And on the back of that, they started home cooking for Rudy. And they saw firsthand what the power of good food could have in their household. And Rudy, no more farting, but she kept the name. And she was far more excited around dinner time as well. And just actually one day, Dave came home on the weekend, and he had a delivery coming around for himself for food. So I think it was from Just Eat. And then he was up cooking for the dogs, and he just thought it was a bit backwards. So he Googled fresh home-cooked dog food delivered. Didn't exist, and he came into me the week after, told me about it. I got pretty excited by the idea because my dog back home, Ace. And then the more we looked into the industry, the more that we thought it needed to be changed. Lack of transparency around what actually goes into the dog's food. A lot of dogs are overweight or obese in the UK, so we help combat that through portioning control. And they were like the two fundamental reasons why we wanted to set up the business.
So in a nutshell, Butternut Box is healthy dog food delivered. But how do you differentiate it?
Well, our food is, so in the industry, you typically have dry kibble food, you have kind of your canned food, you have raw food. Our food is as if you cook the meal at home yourself. So it's a fresh offering. It arrives frozen. You store the food in the fridge or freezer, and the meal literally looks like, we've eaten the food multiple times, but you keep the pouch in the fridge or the freezer, and then it's easy to open up, serve it in the bowl, and then your dog's dinner is good to go.
Now, you're well used to cracking the numbers in Goldman Sachs, so how did you determine that there was sufficient demand in order to establish a business in this space?
I tell you what, it was. I wouldn't say it was super scientific at the start. Me and Dave called the first 18 months the Breaking Bad phase. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but that's there was a lot of running through walls to try and get the business up and running. And when we quit, we had 20 dogs. There's 9 million dogs in the UK. There's over 80 million dogs in Europe. We knew that the market was massive. But we definitely need to prove out a lot of things to get there. And by no means are we the finished article in any way, shape, or form. But we just kind of focused on the next goal ahead, and that was just try to get to 100 dogs. And it took us a year to get there. And then 100 dogs became 1,000 dogs. And we kind of just focused on the next goal ahead and we didn't really try to get distracted along the way.
And how are you driving traffic to your website?
Pretty multifaceted. We have a pretty wide range of channels. I mean, it can be anything from online digital paid channels like Google and Facebook. Our Refer a Friend is a really big source of traffic for us as well. We work with a lot of dog trainers which is another big avenue for us.
Very good.
And then we also have a sales team as well. So there's a lot of different parts that are all kind of driving traffic to the site.
The business itself is based in the UK, but did you ever consider returning to Ireland to set up the business, or was it a case of starting the business where the population is?
I think it was mainly a function of I was living over here at the time, and myself and Dave is English. We met when we were working together, became best mates, and we kind of quit our jobs together as well. So I think it was more just a matter of circumstance. It started in Dave's mum's kitchen, and it kind of grew from there. And by chance, the market is bigger in the UK than Ireland. I mean, fundamentally, obviously, being from Dublin, I'd love to bring it back to Ireland. That would definitely be something that I would like to do personally.
And how important will it be for Butternut Box to invest in new product development in order to achieve longevity within this sector?
The overall kind of purpose of the business is to deliver health and happiness to dogs and their humans all around the UK. So I would say our product development and expansion strategy would always kind of be situated around health and happiness. So at the moment, we are just about to develop a treat range, which we're super excited about. And then going into next year, we're going to be looking at additional products such as supplements for dogs, toys, kind of all around that space, I would say, is kind of like what we want to go into next year as well.
Earlier this year, Butternut Box completed a funding round. But what will this mean for the company's expansion plans, Kevin?
It's really going to be around the product development over the next kind of 12, 18 months. That will be a big part of what we're trying to do. Also growth across the board of the business to try and feed more dogs in the UK. That will be a big focus as well. I'd say we're eyeing up what a European expansion plan would look like. Political climate at the moment is making that a bit difficult over here. So I would say that is potentially on the horizon, but we need a couple of things to shake out on the Brexit scenario for us to actually be able to say that is definitely in the roadmap over the next year. So to answer the question, it's further growth, continued growth, build out the team a tiny bit more, and then also on the product side as well.
Yeah, and on the topic of Brexit, as a UK-based business, you're ideally positioned to assess the consumer sentiment around Brexit. How would you describe the atmosphere there at the moment? And as a business owner, are you worried about the impact that Brexit may have?
I would say definitely concerned about the potential route that goes down on the Brexit side of things. I think it's obviously been chatted about a lot that a no-deal Brexit could have pretty drastic impact on the UK economy as a whole. So I would definitely say that is something high on our list that we're looking at. So that's definitely the first point. I'd say on the second point, consumer sentiments, in certain regards, there's been, in the last kind of like 2 or 3 weeks, the conversation has become so elevated that it's hard to get a gauge every single day. It's kind of changing in between what is actually what the end outcome is going to be. I'd say the lack of knowing is probably the biggest concern at the moment. The lack of knowing what's going to happen, and the uncertainty around that is probably creating the biggest angst, where it's very hard to understand what route the UK is going to go down with Europe.
And Kevin, finally, for anyone listening to this morning's show that's in a safe and secure job, that might be thinking about leaving that and setting up their own business, what advice have you got for them?
Got to be passionate about it. Like, it can't, it has to be real. So there's a lot of tough times over trying to get something off the ground, and you really have to believe in what you're doing in order to kind of go through those tough times. And you want to be sharing it with great people. So the team inside the business is such a big part of it, and we're fortunate enough to have a great team. So have really positive and great people around you, but also be truly passionate about what you're trying to do and why you're setting up a business.
Well, if you've just tuned in, that was Kevin Glynn from Butternut Box. And I would like to thank Kevin for sharing his entrepreneurial story with us this morning.
Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.
South